Roman Reigns retired the man that won in the main event of... Well, he actually did.
I actually did, to be fair. Hello everyone, I'm Adam Wilborn from WhatCulture. He's Michael Hampler from WhatCulture. Forbidden Door 2023 is just finished and we are here to tell you what went down. And looking at social media right now, Michael Hampler, people are discussing whether or not this was the best show ever. Was it for you?
No. But it was really strong, really strong. We, of course, have just done the WhatCulture live stream. You can check that out on WhatCulture now to see our thoughts as they were happening. Definite Match of the Year contenders.
Yes.
I think. So, like a minimum of 1 and arguable 2, 3, 4. So then already it becomes this conversation show of the year, all that kind of thing. Watching it live, I'm a feel versus think person. I didn't feel like I was seeing all the time. I will be watching it again because the stream changes things. You're reading comments, you're having conversations, you're having the crack, all that kind of stuff. It didn't quite live up to my expectations. I feel I'm more scared of the words coming out.
It's hard, isn't it? Because I think if you just sat down to watch this show with no knowledge of what was going to happen, you'd have just been absolutely blown away. And many people are on social media, to be fair. And again, it's the usual thing of we're watching it on the stream and I'm pissing about with jelly and what have you.
There's certain presentational elements of the show I absolutely loved as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Loved.
But I don't know whether... Like, a lot of people were saying the four-way was one of their favourite matches on the show, and I think that was partially because it wasn't people going, dream match, dream match, dream match, this is going to be the best match ever. The dream matches lived up to the hype, don't get me wrong. I'm just saying, across the board, people were sort of ready going, here we go, this is going to be the best show ever. And to certain people, it has been. I know people... 9s, 10s out of 10 all over social media right now. But for us, I don't know, but I'm sure you'll have it out in the comments. So please do.
With us, maybe.
Yeah. Should we dive straight into it?
Yeah.
Let's run through the card. Before we get into it, just to point out there was no Adam Cole Filthy Tom Lawler match. Tom Lawler did get a win in a dark match against Serpentico, but Adam Cole, get well soon. He's not very well. Wins from Mogul Embassy, Athena, El Fantasmo, and Los
Ingobernables de Japón.
Yes, on the not called buy-in now, is it? 0 hour.
0 hour.
But the show opened with my best friend Maxwell Jacob Friedman in action against Hiroshi Tanahashi. I thought they pitched this perfectly.
Yeah, this was lovely. MJF, of course, saying on Collision that he would only work the show if he could open it so he could leave, doing the kind of Brock Lesnar gimmick from a few years ago to go to stuff. We kind of got what we expected here. Tanahashi is like the broken down version of the Ace. He's like reaching the expiration point of his peak years if they haven't already passed, and MJF knows this. He patronises him, he mocks him, and then all of a sudden he finds himself in deep trouble. He injures his knee, Tanahashi zeroes in, you've got sling blades, you've got the sort of dragon screws and all the kind of teasing moments. There's really nice abdominal stretch stuff, but like all of a sudden MJF is in deep water with a legend and can't get it done.
Right for the high fly flow,
has to resort to cheating, doesn't he? Puts the knees upon the high fly flow, uses a referee distraction and clocks him, cracks him with the Dynamite Diamond Ring, having threatened to use the BBB before that.
Yes, exactly. There was a sort of weird sort of comparisons you could get between the AEW World Title match and the IWGP World Title match in terms of you going in and going, well, title's not changing hands here, but they present it in very different ways, and we'll get to Jungle Boy. I should just call him Jack Perry now. It doesn't deserve that wacky, fun part of his name anymore. A little bit later on. But let's move on to the star of the show, CM Punk. He was in action against Satoshi Kojima. I forgot this was an Owen Hart Cup tournament match, to be perfectly honest. I just thought it was just a battle of lariats, basically. Before we talk about, well, I suppose as we talk about the match, we have to talk about the reception that CM Punk got, which was similar to what we saw on Collision the other day.
All I'm saying is that he's going all the way to the finals of his own. He's probably losing there. And I hope he does that all the way through Canada. I hope he goes through every single one of your provinces, through all of your admittedly beautiful looking cities and towns. And you boo him, and you keep booing him, because CM Punk only gets better. He feeds off your boos. He drinks your tears because he doesn't need beers, because he's a straight edge superstar. This was another virtuoso performance from the Punker, but I don't want to be considered biased.
No.
No, this is really good stuff. Punk played the fans like a fiddle yet again, just like he did in Collision. This is really good stuff. Like, you're going to get some CM Punk now. These reactions, this build is just absolutely delicious.
They're desperate for him to turn heel, basically, aren't they?
Yeah. Him and Kojima just had a really good old Blood and Thunder, good guy, bad guy match. Punk, of course, getting the win with the go to sleep in the end, qualifying for the next round of the Owen. And yeah, I would classify that, not the only thing on this card, as a very, very nice piece of business.
Yes, like the Hogan leg drop. He did it on Collision, did it again tonight.
He's done it again. He knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
It's just, this is magic. This run is already feeling magic. Special vibe in the building when he comes out there. didn't sort of outstay its welcome. I feel like it needed to aim for any more than it achieved. You know, it was just sort of like, there was Punk doing really cheesy stuff like 10 punches in the corner where he's punching Kojima but he's lipping off the fans.
Yeah.
Just like that kind of like magic shtick almost. He went for a go to sleep at one point, but he took so long because he was facing every side of the fan base as he did it that Kojima was able to counter. Loads of good stuff like that in between. Like Punk looked like there was a couple of times he was going to get hoisted by his own petard. He didn't. He sort of followed through. But yeah, it's all about this Punk run at the moment, isn't it? And like as a tournament opener, like this felt obviously so much bigger than last year's Owen. But great, let's have this tournament feel even bigger than last year's.
Then we got the four-way: Orange Cassidy, Zack Sabre Jr., Katsuyori Shibata, and Daniel Garcia for the International Championship. A 25th defense, I do believe, for Orange Cassidy. But yeah, it was kind of stolen at the end by Cassidy.
Yeah.
Zack Sabre Jr. not happy about it. Shibata not happy about it. Dan Garcia, I think, was the one who got pinned. But yeah, this was a real, I'm going to say low-key burner on social media, just in terms of people were loving this four-way.
Yeah. I don't like breathless spot fest would be unfair, and it would maybe make it seem like there was just like no psychology tying it all together. Of course, you've always got Orange Cassidy's injuries to work through. You've got the long-standing. It's not even love-hate, it's love-love, but they fight each other out of love between Orange Cassidy and Katsuyori Shibata. You've got Daniel Garcia now playing the sports entertainer, but fighting constantly for the respect of the people that he clearly respects deep down.
Yeah.
Zack Sabre Jr. and Katsuyori Shibata, who are working their own like slap/submission fight throughout, and then every now and then he went. So there was like loads of really delicate, neat touches within this, but it was breathless in action. There was always something going on. Obviously, in Garcia getting beat, that's kind of like quite cleverly preserved the champions. You haven't had to like beat the champion to get the win. Better than the tag match on Dynamite as well, I think, where the four of them came together. It was nice to see them all as rivals, and you feel like in Zack and Shibata there might yet be more defences for Cassidy to come.
Yes.
Like this four-way might not be the end of these four guys.
Then we had the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship match. I mean, Sonata retained. What were you expecting there?
Yeah.
It's arguably more to discuss the post-match.
Yeah. Sonata, truthfully, kind of like was booked to outclass Jungle Boy here as the IWGP World Heavyweight Champion. Jack Perry did at one point get the skull end in, but so did Sonata later on the match.
Swung him round.
Smashed him with a moonsault, beaten clean. And that's it. Like, a clean loss is a clean loss. Like, Jack Perry, in storylines, it's just not the guy, and there's nothing he can do about it. Hook's carrying him out, and then whammo kablamo with the clothesline on the ramp. Taz on commentary was kind of shocked into silence at first, followed by taking his glasses off and looking hard down the lens and threatening violence on his son's behalf. He's very like standoffish. I'm the boy's dad, but I'm gonna let the boy do the business. And Jack Perry took a long, lingering look at the FTW title before very carefully and coyly choosing to leave via the heel exit when he did. I should point out earlier on, Punk teased going on that one, then took a look back and he was like, I'm the good guy. I'm the good guy. But yeah, this was the, I guess, like long-awaited Jack Perry heel turn. Mocked his own pose.
Yeah, he did. He was wearing similar gear, I believe, to Luchasaurus. He's wearing snakeskin because he's a snake. I think this is quite right that they've pulled the trigger on this one right now. And yeah, no one thought he was going to win the title from Sonata, but it was fun, and like the bit where he got the skull ending, I thought was really enjoyable. Yeah. But yeah, everyone's going to be talking about that, and now he's just going to be Jack Perry because he's not doing any of that bollocks anymore for you losers.
I'm not a jungle boy. I'm not a nepo baby. I'm a Hollywood man. Or something, I don't know. And he's buddy.
Then it was the 10-man, the Elite, with Eddie Kingston and Tomohiro Ishii versus the Blackpool Combat Club. Konosuke Takeshita, who looked like an absolute piece in his black leather jacket, and the Shooter himself.
All coming out to John Moxley's New Japan music, going, yeah,
that
press
was
the button.
great.
We haven't got the button in.
No.
Yeah, all action as we thought. Really nice Moxley, Eddie Kingston stuff throughout. There was a point at
One-way
which...
friendship, that is, mate.
I'm going to get the chronology all over the shop here, but there was a point at which they engaged in a chop battle so fierce that multiple high spots happened around it. It was really nice. You know, like every sort of Young Bucks dive you can imagine, loads of brawling going on with Ishii and Takeshita on the outside. So like visualise all of those being set dressing for a never-ending chop battle. It looked like the Fat Show sketch where the fight scene never ends, like just a war that will never ever end. Like that kind of like was the pattern throughout, to the point where the Young Bucks were setting up, it was either BT Trigger or a double super kick on Moxley, and he kind of ducked out the way and they hit Kingston.
Yeah.
So even in victory, which of course the babyface has achieved,
He saved his mate, yeah.
Yeah, like Kingston didn't really look that happy with it.
And then every now and again when it was like, okay, we're mates, what we're fighting, Claudio would be like, I'm seeing this opportunity. Chin you prick.
Speaking of chin and you prick.
Bloody hell.
Spot of the match was Takeshita cleaning Ishii's cloth.
I was like, oh, cool, he's out of the match then, forever.
We were wondering if it was going to be a stretcher job because the shot was so violent. But no, it was in fact the Stone Pitbull that was able to get the win for his team rather unexpectedly. Heading into his umpteenth G1 where he'll have 1 million matches of the year. He was able to get the pinfall on an AEW pay-per-view.
Yeah, pinning Utah, I believe it was.
I think it was, yeah.
So Danielson's not going to be happy about that one again.
More punishments coming Utah's way next time they're in the Vegas desert.
Then it was time for the obligatory single women's match on an AEW pay-per-view. Come on, do more. I know they did Athena, but that was the kickoff. Doesn't count. Tony Storm versus Willow Nightingale. Shenanigans involving the Outcasts. Tony Storm cheating her way to another title retention against our favourite Willow Nightingale.
Yeah, Willow Nightingale looked like she might have got it done late in the day. Like a really great, stiff, hard-hitting affair that you would like out of these two. But it came, like the finish came when she hit the pants. Tony Storm rolled to the outside, which perhaps was her salvation at the end. And then after the Outcasts had been, rowdy, Tony Storm went to the eyes.
Yeah, and when you're kicked out of ringside, that's that. You can't come back.
He's going to come back to that, much like one of the people that was kicked out of ringside. But yeah, the Outcasts were obviously sent packing, but Tony Storm went to the eyes and then was able to hit that pulling power driver. The Storm 1, Storm 0.
Storm 0, yeah, I think so.
Pulling power drive for the win on Willow Nightingale. Like really, really good, gritty stuff. And got massively over in the building when, as Wilborn points out, it was in a potentially tricky spot to do so. So like shout out to both women for making the most of maximising their minutes.
Yes, hopefully Willow Nightingale can get her own back on the Outcasts as part of the Owen Hart tournament. Will Ospreay beat Kenny Omega. Then we get to Sting, Darby. Oh, you want to talk about that a little bit, dear? Yes.
Okay, yeah.
Will Ospreay won the IWGP United States Heavyweight Championship from Kenny Omega in the longest match of the night. The match of the night. I think we're all in agreement of. Yeah. Maybe you can argue the main event. I'm sure you will in the comments. And make sure, whilst you're at that, if you haven't done so already, hit that subscribe button and ring the bell to make sure you get all the notifications from WhatCulture Wrestling.
Ding, ding.
Omega Ospreay. Some of the most preposterous kickouts I've ever seen.
Yeah.
But it's tinged with a little bit, and they're going to come for me, and they're going to come for you as well, of, right, what was the whole thing with Don Callis?
Yeah. Right. Unbelievably hard.
I like the first match better than these two, between these two.
Same, but I'm going to rewatch this again tomorrow. Unbelievable blood in this one from Will Ospreay in particular. Like Kenny bled first, and then Will Ospreay bled second, smashing his face off the steps, like blood covering everywhere. To the point where his blood was dripping down on Omega's body. It was like a bloodthirsty match. Like, and you made a point. Moxley didn't bleed earlier in the show, and now we see why. Obviously, because clearly somebody printed out saying no bleeding, please. No. Loads of blood in this one. Double juice, double baby.
Tony Storm got a bit of.
She did, yeah. Yeah. Really, really great stuff, and not to sort of undermine it. Referee doing the big, to Don Callis, leaving the security ringside still.
Yeah.
Who didn't factor into it in any way. Just two big hench guys with the masks on.
He looks a little bit like Christopher Daniels.
Yeah. Like a kind of Jack Simon Pegg. But, yeah, Callis comes back out later on in the match, and the referee does nothing about it. And
not you again.
When there's a bit of a skirmish, Callis is able to pass Will Ospreay the screwdriver, of course. So he's
after a few days, night passed, day passed, and he's messing about in his pocket.
He goes up in the one-winged angel, stabs him there with the screwdriver. That gets a 2 count. That's pretty exhilarating 2 count. We get another amazing near fall when he hits a Stormbreaker with Ospreay Kenny Omega. Kenny Omega's like lifeless body, kind of like his leg flails over the bottom rope for like an awesome kick out. And then Ospreay gets the win later on with another Stormbreaker.
After hitting Omega with the one-winged angel and him kicking out a 1.
Oh, that was amazing. And Callis remained ringside. And it was a little bit off-putting that like he'd been sent out there, he came back and nothing happened. He was involved repeatedly and just stayed out there. And we found that a little bit distracting. But the match itself obviously was just tremendous. Another world-class performance from 2 world-class stars. And the conversation seems to be leaning towards them having the rubber match at All In. And I guess they must be calling it rubber because at this point they've both gone 50-50, so you're protecting the title.
Right. Let's get to the Sting obligatory party match before the main event on this show. It was Sting, his son, Darby Allin, and Tetsuya Naito against the Suzuki Gods. What do you make of this one? Bit of a mess, this.
Yeah, not great. The party match, the Sting party match almost never misses, and it did here. It was there to do one job, which it did well, which was allow the fans to calm down from the Omega Ospreay match and rev all the way back up for the main event, which we'll get to, and it did. It did that perfectly well. However, it was full of a few either, not botches, but a few spots that appeared to put Sting in physical danger, such as Sammy Guevara's cutter off the top rope where like Sting kind of crumpled. Sammy put Sting through a table on the floor, which was amazing, by the way.
Yeah.
Sammy did about 15 rotations. It looked like the Omega Vikingo spot from a few months back on Dynamite. And then Sting got back up first because he was involved in the finish. And there was various points as well where he was like, could have broke up moves and was just like, no, I'm getting back to the corner. Sorry. Naito was kind of like downplayed a little bit in his role. The t-shirt didn't come off, but nor did it need to.
Well, outfit came out was an absolute... Oof.
Yeah, the highlight of the match, truthfully, was the three-person The Suzuki Gods pose. Like, they all look great in that. So that was fun, but the match wasn't.
No. But the main event was...
Babyface got the win, sorry. Yeah.
Indeed, yeah. Bryan Danielson versus Kazuchika Okada. Where do you start with this? I suppose with Bryan Danielson's entrance.
Oh, yeah, the final countdown made its return. Tony Khan presumably paying the big bucks if we are led to believe it costs as much as it does. There was very little of the Okada delayed start here because it was Danielson on offense. So, like, rather than having the slow and deliberate Okada pace, it was the less slow, more deliberate Danielson pace. He was working submissions. He was trying to grind Okada down. So Okada found himself having to fight back in the match early, which he did. Super sort of exciting stuff between the two. A lot of like really cool technical exchanges where like they were kind of like playing that one-upsmanship game. I'm the best in the world. No, I'm the best in the world. Check this out. I'm the best in the world. Like you got the gorgeous Okada swan dived like over the barrier at one point where they fought out into the audience. You had Danielson picking his spot to do the like the yes kicks as they were once known on the floor, which then when Okada counted into his trademark tombstone, that was also on the floor, and it's like they're killing each other. And then we got back into the ring. There was a weird moment which we couldn't really reconcile or make our mind up on, where the doctors had to come in because it appeared as if Danielson was convulsing or suffering some sort of seizure, some kind of episode thing. He had done a couple of spots of the head and the neck prior to that to sell, obviously, the impact of Okada's beautiful drop kick and the tease of the Rainmaker and all that sort of stuff. But Danielson got him in a grisly-looking submission.
With one arm, by the way.
Pushing him back on the arm, trapping his arm behind his boot, just to like sort of add sort of a death blow to it. And it worked. Okada had to tap out clean.
He'd been using his length previously, Cedric pointed this out on Twitter, just to get to the ropes, and they'd been hammering this point home. And then it was like, nah, he's trapped him. Yeah.
Nowhere to go. In the deep water, Danielson continued to sell the fact that the one arm was down by his side the whole time and why he had to go to the boot. Very sort of Zack Sabre Jr.-esque, opportunistic, and it worked. Okada tapped. Bryan Danielson's the best in the world, and we move.
Having gone through it, yeah, it was bloody brilliant.
Very eventful, loads of fun stuff.
Was it the best show ever? That is for you to decide in the comments. This is just our subjective take. Yeah. Simon Miller will be here later on today to give you a far better perspective on this. Yeah, there's going to be a hell of a lot of ups on this show, not very many downs. I'm sure Andy will talk about it in the news, and myself and the Dadley Boys will go into more detail on this in the What Culture Wrestling podcast, wherever you get your podcast from. But let us know your thoughts in the comments section below. Let us know your thoughts on Twitter, all the usual stuff. But I'm going to leave this very quickly in the capable hands of Michael Hamlet while I try and work out how to awkwardly leave and turn off the video. Thanks for joining us. This is what went down.
I'll do my usual Garth from Waynesville thing, but I will just say, if you want to join in the debate, please at least be nice and kind to each other, and indeed to us, because we're both pretty scared that we're going to get told off for not thinking the show is the greatest of all time. Until the next time, if you stick with us after this, we will see you soon.